One of the biggest insights I had that, well, when I had it was quite disturbing, but also good news was that it really released so much of the stress and preoccupation I had around my career and progression. And the insight was how many words we have for things that don't actually exist. So let me explain. When we use the word career, what are we referring to? Career is not something that is tangible the way this cup is tangible. It's not something that I can pick up and put in a bag or pick up and give to you. It's a interpretation or a judgment or a construct of the mind looking back on my roles, my promotions, my progression, and making an assessment of those memories, and then taking that and whatever data I'm collecting in the moment to project where I'm going to be or develop moving forward. So it's not something that exists now. And the way that realization came to me was in a moment where I was talking to a colleague of mine, and she was explaining to me all of the success she had been having. And she was talking about some of the projects that had been taken, she'd been given, how well she was doing. And I was really, really happy for her. I love this colleague. I think she's great. And I was really happy that she had seen success. And as we finalized our conversation, what I also started to realize was that that data point was impacting how I was looking at my career. Whereas right before that conversation, I was feeling pretty great about my career and what I had been accomplishing and what I was up to. After that conversation, I started to feel pretty crappy about my career. And I thought, why am I not doing that? Or why am I not seeing that success? And I started to really start looking at, well, why was it that just a few minutes ago, I was fine with my career. It was fine. Absolutely nothing has changed other than me having this conversation with this other individual. All of a sudden, I have all this thinking around how pathetic I am and how pathetic my career is. And when I started to even look closer, I started to realize that, well, what is a career, right? When I look back on my career, there's so many different ways that I could tell that story. There's so many different ways that I could pick up on certain memories that tell the story of a great career of a woman who had a highly successful corporate career and then made a change into leadership development and starting her own business in that space. Or I could pick a bunch of other different memories and have a different, entirely dire type of career story. And so I started to realize that this story of my career, this idea, this construct, this concept of career was really much more fluid, much more nebulous, much more intangible than what we make it out to be. We think, well, I need to work on my career and I need to ensure that my career is going in the right direction. But how do you do that? I mean, when in one moment I can think I am having an amazing career, and in the next moment think that I am pathetic and having a horrible career, how do we go about managing our career, right? It starts to seem like this very The vision that's coming to me is almost like a cloud, right? Looks real, but the minute you try to capture it, it just flows through your fingers, and that's what is starting to seem about so many words we have for things that we think are so real, but under closer scrutiny, under closer examination, really are made up concepts that we have an assessment about based on how much thinking we have about it in the moment, how settled we are in the moment. And really, it starts to look pretty silly to put too much credence on our idea of what type of career we're having. Really, at the end of the day, we're up to something. And as long as we're up to something and that we're enjoying what we're up to, the career piece kind of takes care of itself. At least that's what I found.